Hello, buenas noches, good night, good evening, sorry. Juan Toledano, muy buenas. Pontus, hello man, how are you doing? Well, here we are one more time, yeah. Okay, so today we'll be continuing with the Nemesis Art challenge. And I will be doing this time the Nemesis character for Trevor Clarkson. Sorry, I'm always just mixing. I don't know why. It's not that difficult, but I don't know why every single time I have to say it here in on stream I say it wrong. Sorry, Trevor. I love you, man. Sorry. So yeah, I'm gonna be focusing and doing the Nemesis character. That is gonna be hopefully the arch enemy nemesis of his hero. Ho3012SS, thanks for the follow, much appreciated. Welcome to the stream. So yes, the Nemesis character for her hero character called the High Summoner. What was her name? High Summoner Janus. There you go. So Simon, sorry. Hello, welcome, welcome. How are you? Here I'm doing fine. Tired, like always, but doing very good. And I'm very excited with the current character. And I'm really looking forward to show you guys, because last week, since I was not sure what I was going to do, I was just sketching. So I basically went with the very similar to direction to what I was doing with the sketch, but yeah, you will see. I had to advance. Rodolfo Solorzano, muy buenas, bienvenido al stream, encantado de tenerte aquí. So yeah, let's go. So let's do a little bit of a recap for some of the people that may be joining and doesn't know what is all of this about. So I'm doing characters for this art challenge that myself and some good friends of mine decided to organize, called the Nemesis Art Challenge. And basically it is challenge where you need to be battling another artist, and each one of you need to be creating a character in secret for 2 weeks, and that's going to be your hero. After those 2 weeks, you will be handling that hero to your opponent, and respectively you will have to create a nemesis for that hero. It's going to have to be their the arch enemy, right? The nemesis, and using only as reference the design that the person has done, and that is giving you. So this was my hero that I did on the first phase, called Red Queen, and with a design with the helmet and with this idea that we discussed about, that she rejuvenized by sucking all the blood with this gauntlet from her enemies. But yeah, basically this is the design, right? So now Trevor is creating, I'm absolutely certain, an amazing Nemesis character for the Red Queen. I'm really looking forward to it, and quite scared, in a good way, but yeah, because it's always he's doing absolutely amazing work. So yeah, and of course, the thing of at the end of the challenge is trying to put together the hero created by you and the nemesis created by your opponent, and the other way around, the hero created by your opponent and the nemesis that you created for your opponent hero, and kind of decide which one of them, hero or nemesis, would win a fight. So I will be, so this is here, this is the hero character that Trevor created, and he wasn't very kind, because he has put the bar very high by including 2 extra characters on the back. So now I have to respond in kind. But I love it, and as you can see, well, the work speaks by itself. It's amazing. So now I'm creating the nemesis for her, which I'm gonna show you right away. And as I was saying, I need to use this picture as art direction, because the nemesis that I have to create, it cannot be random whatever I want. It needs to fit within the IP world universe that this hero lives, and the only reference that I have is this picture. So I need to use this picture as a art guide, so to speak, and try to design my character according to this art guide. Of course, there is plenty of room to create and expand things, but that's the beauty of this challenge, right? So try to fit it within the art direction that your opponent has established, but of course, yeah, there's plenty of flexibility. So yeah, let's jump right away with it. So this is what I have created so far. Let's see if I can. Let's see how you guys see her there, and so still pretty much work in progress, but all right. So let's kind of go back a little and try to explain why I'm doing what I'm doing, and kind of recap a little, since I have been doing all these during the week, and I haven't done it during the last stream. So like this, we are all on the same level, and you understand my creative decisions for doing one things and others. All right, so my interpretation, right, for Trevor's awesome character was that, okay, so there is something happening with portals, right? So there's like this portal behind her, and because of her name, the Summoner, I understand that that's kind of her type of powers or something like that. So I'm assuming, and of course with the characters behind it, I'm assuming that these characters have been summoned by her, like some kind of familiars or something like that are gonna fight for her. A little bit like Pokemon, I think we mentioned last time. And like she's preparing another creature here, and it's difficult for me to kind of have a clear idea how that would work. Is these creatures that appears through these vases, they are contained within? Is the this thing is just like a device that makes them appear, or are they actually inside, or this is just you see what she's gonna summon? The possibilities are plenty, and since I don't have much information, then it's up for my interpretation. I'm guessing, but that's not that important. So in one hand, I see that there is a little bit of fantasy flavor to the whole design of her specifically, but at the same time, she's not purely fantasy, right? There is a lot of elements that remind to something more high tech, right? And bionics or something like that, like the hand, the armor here. There could be bionics, or it could be some kind of armor or something like that. And of course, the same thing with the metallic body or armor here with tubes. There is something more than just pure fantastical, and the outfit of this guy here behind doesn't speak of fantasy, but something more modern. So I really dig this type of approach where it's a mix, a little bit like with my Red Queen, even though mine it's leaning aesthetically at least more to medieval thing because of as I said, one of the pillars for the design was medieval knights during Justin, and the colors and everything, but still has elements that is not purely medieval or fantasy, but a mixed, right? So I really dig that type of approach. I think it's very fun. So yeah, so I'm getting that, and then there is like this badge that she's carrying here with neon colors, so it feels more, once again, a little bit more science fiction, sci-fi feel to it. And because of that, it feels that she's some kind of agent of law or something like that. Or like a bounty hunter or something of that kind, and that she applies the law, or she hunts the criminals or whatever with her powers, right? With summoning creatures or something like that. And I'm assuming that because I don't see any type of weapons on her, right? So I'm guessing that these creatures are doing the fight for her, unless she might be some martial arts abilities or something of that kind. But so that's kind of my interpretation. She's some kind of agent of the law, or some kind of bounty hunter, and and everything has to do something with portals. So I kind of, with all of that in mind, I tried to put my character in that context. So I decided to think and design the Nemesis as using like these two ideas and mix them together. And I don't know if I'm managing to realize that fully, but at least that's my intention, and that's my goal. So in one hand, I want him to look like some sort of cyberpunk gang member, thug, criminal. So I want the criminal part, strict thug from a cyberpunk thing, plus mixing that with the idea of some type of magician or necromancer or something of that kind. So mixing those two concepts together in one. So criminal, cyberpunk, thug type of vibes with a magician, fantasy wizard, evil wizard, or something like that. So in my mind, I'm building this story, right? That, okay, so if she is some kind of police agent or bounty hunter that use creatures, she summon creatures to hunt the criminals, and we have again this portal. So maybe it has something to do with portals and with different realities, and so the fact that she can summon creatures and they look so different, maybe it means that they come from different realities. And again, since we are seeing this idea of portal, so it feels that within this IP, in this world, there are this idea of using portals to different universes, call it whatever, planes of existence with different creatures or whatever. And maybe she controls that maybe there is people that use those portals to go from one world to another, or something like that. So I'm thinking that this guy, her nemesis, again, if she's representing law and order, or then he must be a criminal, and perhaps he's some kind of magician criminal that smuggle creatures or things through portals through different universes and use his abilities to do that, and he create, I don't know, like a empire of a crime through the different worlds through his dealings with portals and stuff like that. And maybe he uses like forbidden tech or magic to do that. That is cursed or that is very dangerous, and therefore is banned, and nobody is supposed to use it, and that's why he might be chased by her. Who knows? Something of that kind. So that's more or less, in a very generic way, kind of the ideas that I have in my mind for explaining the context of the character and in relation with the hero. Because again, I cannot, part of the challenge is not create this nemesis like out of the bubble, out of any context. You need to put that in context with the hero that is being given to you by your opponent. So all right, so then of course, again, since Trevor was kind enough to add 2 more characters on the back, so I decided to also I had to do the same. I still not sure what they are gonna be. But yeah, I'm thinking something that needs to look very like cursed, and they need to look evil since he's the bad guy. All right, so that's kind of the context for the design, the direction that I'm going for. Then I decided to kind of use kind of a very similar composition and pose in a very similar way. Just thinking once again that if in this universe the summoning things is a common ability and science or call it whatever, then maybe they have different ways of doing it that are always similar. So that's why I decided just to, it is a very simple way to do it, but kind of to establish certain connection in that way that they that's why I want to add another type of vase or something that is similar to hers, and that he's also just having it and hovering it over his palm by whatever the means. I don't know if technology or magic or something. So I want to replicate a little bit her pose in that sense. And having the two the creatures on the back, a little bit kind of the same thing. Right, so that's one thing. So since she is kind of dark, right, I decided that just to go into the opposites, just to go with a character that was going to be bright in colors and pale. So that's why I decided to go with these colors. So that's another design choice that I went for. Vanity Falls. We need a strong weapon for pink bubblegum cats. Yes, yeah, I agree. I agree. And hello, welcome to the stream. Lucius, hello man. How are you doing? Welcome. Solid Frango, hello and welcome. I think I don't recall having you seen you around, so welcome. Rodolfo. Hello. All right. And Vicenzo, hi. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. So, all right. So, as I was saying, so going with pale color as a base and bright colors overall, and I wanted to create once again a little bit of an opposed to Trevor's image. I mean, it's limited, and so I wanted to create something that is similar, but at the same time has certain elements that are opposite to Trevor. So I was playing a little bit with colors, going with complementary colors. There is pink and purple and stuff like that, so I wanted to use greens, for example, and yellows to make it a little bit more slightly opposites, but still I'm not how do you say, I'm not being very strict with that, but at least that was an initial idea. And the other thing is, okay, so she is highlighted by a bright background of the portal, and then she's more dark. And I wanted to do the opposite. Since he's pale and bright, I wanted to have a dark background. So for that, I decided that I spent some time trying to come up with some ideas to do that, and I was thinking to have a dark portal, and then the rest around like being a bright background around the black portal, but it didn't convince me. It didn't help to highlight the character, which is the central piece and the focus of the whole exercise. So I decided to block the light from the portal with the two creatures behind him, and I will suggest that the portal is just behind them. So at least there is a connection. It feels that it's kind of the same idea. So that Trevor has established, but at least on the presentation, the result is a little bit different. And in this case, he's highlighted by being bright against a dark background. So yeah, so those are some of the elements. Then going into more details about the character himself. So there is still lots of things to do, but there are certain things that I'm definitely going for. So I wanted to have like this very evil look and kind of idea of something that reminds like skull and with muscles that you can see a little bit. This is still a work in progress. I still don't know how I'm gonna do it, but at least suggest muscle lines or something of that kind, and maybe play with the futuristic or sci-fi aspects of it. So maybe make it look like it's some type of circuits on the skin, some, I don't know, because maybe he's not even human, we don't know, but there, he has some markings on the skin, right? And maybe it could be a mix between circuits, maybe arcane symbols. So it's just a way of visually putting together this cyberpunk or sci-fi look with more fantasy and wizards and stuff like that. So I don't know. That's one an idea. And the same thing, I will put some things on the torso as well. So we'll see. So then I try to kind of replicate a little bit of the design language that Trevor has used on her ometics or armor. I feel that it is a mix, right? Some things are armor and other things are cybernetic stuff. So I decided to do a little bit of that. So he has like some cybernetic arms, but then just leaving the torso naked. So again, this idea of like cyberpunk, street thug, something like that, criminal, but tying it a little bit with certain fantasy flavor, so to speak. And then yeah, I decided to give him some stuff. Again, to underline a little bit this idea that he's some type of wizard. Then to give him some scroll, book. I mean, just hinting to this wizard, necromancer side of the design. Also, the thing with the necromancer as well, going with this more cadaveric type of face as well, right? So it reminds a little bit like undead. So I'm just trying to use all these different ideas and mix them together, and yeah. And basically that's where I am at the moment. Yes, with the creatures on the background, again, I'm not sure what I want to do, but I will. I'm not gonna put too much work on them. I just want to leave them more as a suggestion and a hint to what they could be, but yeah, not to spend much time on them and put a lot of details, but at least to give the impression that they are evil and cursed, because the creatures that Trevor has created, they look menacing and very much capable of fighting, but they are cute in some way, right? So this guy, because of the gummy pink thing, right, and with the faces, And then this guy, he has a very funny anatomy and proportions, and even though he look badass and but he has a certain funny look, right? So it's easy to relate like a good guy, even though he looks very threatening, but like a good guy in some certain way. So I want to do minds as like threatening and evil and cursed. Once again, I want to add also this extra layer on top of everything that is not just pure evil, but this guy is using some, again, band technology or arcane knowledge to do what he does. And maybe that has to do with summoning some creatures that they are not supposed to be summoned, something like that. So the idea of cursed thing. So I want to add a little bit and suggest that on the creatures. I don't know how. We'll see. So yeah, basically that's where I am. Lucius, finishing off my protagonist for the art challenge, and I'm pretty happy with it so far, but getting ready for the nuke Miguel will drop. Nice. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to see both yours and Miguel's as well. Very much. All right, so enough of explaining things, and let's continue. Let's paint a little bit, but I hope it makes sense. And I hope it wasn't boring to hear all this explanation. But I think it is important to give some context of why I'm doing what I'm doing, and to show that it's not just random, but there is some thought behind. I have absolutely no clue how he would call himself, so I'm more than open for suggestions, and maybe I might write a small short story as well as I did with the Red Queen, kind of to summarize all these design ideas and put it in a short story for him. So I'm more than happy and to hear some suggestions about that, and of course as well about the design, and yeah. And any feedback as well. I mean, yeah. So do you have, guys, any thoughts? The stuff is still not designed yet. This is completely work in progress, and I will do something a little bit more fancy with it. But yeah. Same thing with the hair. Maybe I could experiment a little bit with that. I would like to try something a little bit more extravagant. Let's see. There is two possible routes. I'm guessing, maybe there could be a middle ground. I'm not sure. But one is like a more cyberpunk, again, street thug type of fashion hairstyle direction approach, and another one more fantasy approach. to do like very long hair. And of course, at this point, I'm just exploring ideas. I'm not sure. I mean, ridiculously long. Pontus, what do I think about the red square mark on one of the opponent's creatures? Good question. To me, I feel that it's like some kind of ownership type of thing, like or like some kind of badge. One of, or the other. Like it's saying that he's working for her, or that he is owned by her, that he has been summoned by her, so it is under her control or something like that. That's kind of the that's what kind of suggests to me. What do you think? I mean, that's another thing that I will like to know what you guys think about how you interpret the character from Trevor. If you kind of coincide with what I'm thinking and how I read the character, or you have a completely different interpretation. That's also something that will be interesting to hear what you guys think. Sergio Ponce, hi Miguel, drawing along with you one more time. Fantastic. That's music to my ears. Great, great. I think it's yeah. I love that that idea that we are all doing our art stuff on our ends, so it feels like some kind of drawing session with friends. I don't know if you used to do that when you were young, but I used to do that a lot with my friends at school. That they, I had a very good friend of mine that he used to like to draw a lot. So we both liked to draw, and we loved all type of fantasy stuff. And he was actually the one that introduced me for the first time to things related to the Warhammer 40k. And I must have been around 10 years old or something. So I remember that we spent plenty of evenings just drawing together. And sharing ideas and comparing our drawings and characters that we were doing. So that's something that I enjoy immensely doing with other artists and with you guys. Even though we cannot, we are on the internet, but still feels great. And like always, I encourage you to to share what you are doing on the Discord server. That is, yeah, it's a great thing to do, just to share and inspire everybody. Juan Toledano, I'm thinking about Simon character and what to do for his nemesis while I watch the stream. Nice. Nice. That's another part that is very fun about the with the challenge. Is like once you are at this stage and you have given your hero, is like the wait for to see what the other person brings to fight your hero, right? It's like is it gonna be intimidating? Lucius, have you thought about adding some scarring or damage to his chest? If he came from the streets, maybe he showed the scars he earned for intimidation. Yes, I'm planning to do something similar to his face on the torso, but I still haven't started yet. But yeah, it's not gonna be this clean. There's gonna be some, again, could be scarring or could be these circuit-like lines. I don't know, but yeah, there's gonna be something more here on the chest. Not so much as scars, but again, some lines. I haven't decided what they are gonna be. I mean, some kind of hair like this, like a long ponytail like this, it kind of give me the vibes of a jinn. In this case, an evil jinn, which is could work in some way. Juan Toledano, I'm thinking. No, sorry, I read that already. Simon. Okay, that was for Juan, right? Ricardo, hey, buenas, Miguel, brutal la pieza, me encanta. Muchas gracias, Ricardo. Muchas gracias. Y bienvenido al stream. Don't tell me that I haven't been... Oh my goodness. I'm supposed to be recording this at the same time and I forgot. Alright. Alright, so this could be one option. I'm not entirely sure, even though there is some things that I like about it. But if he has actual long hair like this. Yes. I have such a mess of layers. I'm gonna have to go through purge of layers and and merging at this point. But yeah, so my idea is like, what if he has very long hair coming through here, and it's damn, what is it called in English? Trenzas in English, or flata in Swedish. How is it called in English? The problem with that this approach is that it's getting more fantasy. kind of lose a little bit like the cyberpunk feel. Unless I do something more this way, perhaps. Great. Yeah, there you go. Thanks. Thanks, everybody. There you go. Or maybe it could be only one as well. Now that I think about it. By the way, have any of you seen the Dune film yet? Please, no spoilers for anybody, me included. I'll go and see it on Tuesday. But just for the fun of it, I rewatched again the David Lynch Dune the other day. And again, there are so many good ideas there, but at the same time, there are so many other failures in that film. Such a shame. But I have high hopes. I like the novel so much. It's such a amazing book. I mean, and nothing so far that has been done makes justice to it. It's kind of funny that so many huge science fiction IPs have been inspired and created and have taken so much out of Dune. 40K included. I mean, the influence that Dune has in 40K is so huge. You can see it everywhere. Everywhere. It's leaking 40K universe is leaking Dune influences everywhere. It's so clear. But yeah, so far every single attempt, I feel that in one way or another, it's always failing to make that world a justice. I mean, of how epic and how interesting and well thought out and cool as well. That's the thing. The problem is, like, they have done so many things and they are just not cool. It's So yeah, I have high hopes with the new one, even though of course I'm more than aware that it might be another failure, but at least I have hope. We'll see. And I still haven't read what you guys are writing, but if you are saying anything, but also I know that I would be disappointed if the adaptation becomes just another generic science fiction action movie, and everything is about action and pretty stuff, and not just bite deep into the interesting part of that universe and the story, which is what makes it so appealing. Ricardo, ¿qué es el Nemesis Art Challenge? ¿Se puede participar? Okay, I'm gonna answer very fast in Spanish because everybody knows here, or since I have explained so many times. So, es un challenge en el que tienes que crear, tienes que encontrar un oponente, otro artista, y cada uno de vosotros tenéis que crear un personaje, un héroe, entre comillas, durante 2 semanas, en secreto. Al cabo de esas 2 semanas, entregáis ese personaje a vuestro oponente, y cada uno vais a tener que crear un personaje que sea Nemesis del héroe de vuestro oponente, respectivamente. Y lo tenéis que hacer en otras 2 semanas. Y utilizando solo como referencia el diseño del personaje que tu oponente te haya entregado. Y el Nemesis que crees para ese personaje tiene que entrar y tiene que funcionar dentro del mundo del personaje que tu oponente ha creado. Entonces no puedes hacer lo que sea, tiene que ser algo que funcione dentro del estilo y la idea en torno al diseño del personaje original, del héroe que tu oponente ha creado. All right. Simon, we watched it day one with my girlfriend. And did you like it? I mean, yeah. If you can give me some thoughts without entering into details at all, but just I don't mind knowing if you liked it or not. I mean, I know everything. I mean, yeah, I have read the story twice, the book. So, I mean, there is nothing to spoil, really. So, Lucy, just like Ultramarines, they were so close to success. Well, I think, yeah. It's difficult to beat Ultramarines. Hey, Peter. Hello. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? But I'm wondering, now that we are talking about all of this, who in the chat has read Dune? Not seen any of the previous film or the TV series, but has actually read the book or the books, since there are many. At least the original one, the first one. Then I'm gonna follow up with another question. And by the way, if some of you, I would assume that you like science fiction. If you haven't read Dune, what are you waiting for? Because like I'm saying, it's a masterpiece and has such a huge influence in other works of science fiction. And for good reasons. Simon. Yeah, I truly loved it. I really felt the Warhammer vibes, and I think Denis Villeneuve really understood that he had to give a large scale to the movie, which, in my opinion, he did well. All right, fantastic. Very happy to hear that. Nice. The only doubts that I have from the trailers that I have seen is that I'm a little bit afraid on the visual department. But again, it's very limited to a trailer, and who knows? Yeah, but what I'm afraid is that it's gonna become, visually speaking, how could I say it properly with my poor English skills? That the overall designs and vibes that they are gonna provide to the universe, it's another, and probably is a very well designed and looking very nice, but just within the nowadays trends of what looks cool, if you know what I mean, and not give a flavor and substance that looks different to make justice to the book. Because at least to me, one of the things that stands out from the book is that it's a science fiction story like there is none other, in terms that you cannot compare it to anything else. It has its own flavor. For example, with these oriental vibes, because of the names and references throughout the whole book. So something that they, for example, you can see they attempted on the David Lynch film, which I really praised for trying, but even though they were trying to do something unique, at the same time they failed to make it look interesting or cool enough. So once again, my fear is that for certain the look is gonna be good, but it's just gonna be another gonna have a like a trendy design style from a Western artist, so to speak. And you understand what I mean with all of this, and not to give a flavor that really feels something completely different from things that we have seen so far. So that's my bigger fear. And of course, I'm asking a lot because this thing that I'm saying it's super 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 difficult to achieve. So vanities, I have. Okay, good. Simon, but I didn't read the books, sadly. All right. But then you know what you need to do. Seriously, it's such an amazing piece and so inspiring in so many ways. Yeah. Peter, nope, just the 8 hours movie. All right. Vanity, enjoyed the old movie too. Haven't seen the new one yet. All right. Yeah, I mean, the thing with the old one is there are certain things that I enjoyed and I praise, but just like picking certain things here and there. But the overall result, I think it was not not good. Uh, not in terms of representing the universe and the depth that it has on the books, but also as in cinematographic point of view, strictly speaking, like as an adaptation. I think it's the story is very badly adapted. It's very simplistic. I don't know. Peter, spice is the variety of life. Yes. Lucius, I haven't read it yet, but I will be reading it soon before I watch any film about it. All right, that's a fantastic thing to do. I, 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 if I can, I try to do the same as well. I did the same with, for example, the Game of Thrones. I knew about the books many years before the series, but things they didn't get the opportunity. So the series started. So I watched the first season, and I liked it quite a lot. And then I decided, all right, I'm gonna stop watching the series until I read the whole books, which I did. And then I was, of course, very disappointed to see that the books are not finished. And so I just watched the series until they catch the books, and I have not continued watching Game of Thrones the rest of the seasons because I refuse to watch it before reading the books, because the books are just amazingly good. They are just insane. And even though I think at least the first seasons, the ones that I have seen so far, they have done a fantastic adaptation work with them, like really brilliant as well. There is nothing. No film adaptation is ever gonna reach the level of the original work, right, of the book. It's so yeah. So yeah, that's a good idea, Lucius. I cheers to that. Vanity, but there is something about the books that just don't translate to film. More than just richness due to many words. Yes, yeah. That's one. Yeah, I totally agree. Uh, that's why I think it's a difficult book to adapt in that way, and the art department and the concept art discipline for this a project of this kind is up to a huge task because it is not easy. It's not an easy task. It's yeah. The rest, I think, to be honest, if they give a long minutes. So if they make a very long series of films, they can do a good adaptation to the story. But when it comes to the vibes from the description of things, it's visually it's difficult to pull it off. So that's why I'm talking about my fears that it becomes like, yes, looking good, yes, good designs, but not managing to translate that uniqueness that the world on the books has. All right, so my following question was, since I know that many of you here are fans of Warhammer 40k, can you name some of the things that are clearly influenced and inspired by Dune in Warhammer 40k? Because there are millions of things that are key pillars uh, on the Warhammer 40k universe and IP, and they are just, yeah, completely taken from Dune. Nothing wrong with it, so I'm not just saying it as a bad thing, but it's clearly a huge inspiration. And I have thought about some few. Yeah, maybe you come up with others that I haven't thought about. There's too many things going to the right. Now that I think about it, what if the elements? Frogs, good evening. I like the lighting in the background. Thank you. And welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Peter, there is a great documentary about Jodorowsky unmade version. Oh, yes. Fantastic documentary. And even though I think Jodorowsky is a genius himself, and that he was putting together all these like dream team to do his film, he was already saying that he was not going to. He was going to do a version that was not. I mean, he was going to do his Dune and not to make a real adaptation of the book. So I mean, of course, it's difficult to say, right? Since he didn't manage to do it, but it might have not been that good. Perhaps it's difficult to say, but it's definitely a shame that he didn't. He could not do it. I mean, and just at least what they claim, right, on the documentary, like the art style book for the project that has became like this holy grail in Hollywood that has inspired so many huge films afterwards, just cannibalizing that project, and have become like such a huge cult films by themselves. It's yeah, so who knows. But yeah, Jodorowsky, it's yeah, I mean, some of my absolute favorite comic books are written by him, right? The Meta Barons and of course the Incal. If you don't know about the Incal or the Meta Barons, again, I don't know what you are doing, but you are already you should just run and read them because they are amazing. But yeah, Simon, well, yeah, it's not as crazy as other depictions of Dune were, but I truly loved costumes, and I think it's still far better and fresher than a lot of recent sci-fi movies. In my opinion, the designs are palpable or believable, which is enough for me. Uh, Even with just the movies, I can tell that the Emperor is. All right, so that's another part. Yeah. All right, so okay, that is. That's the impression that it gives me. Is like for the few things that I have seen on the trailers, it looks that it's well designed, and there is obviously a very talented team behind it. So I'm not doubting of that. I'm taking that for granted. I know it's gonna look gorgeous, and I'm just like I was explaining. It's more about if they manage to make justice to the uniqueness of the world described on the books. And of course, if you haven't read the books, it's difficult to explain. But if you have read them, you will understand what I mean. That it feels like it's something different. It's. I mean, it makes sense, right? That normally Western authors, their lots of their references and cultures comes from Western culture and traditions. In this case, Dune, even though it has a lot of that as well, there is a lot of things and that are not necessarily Western, and that's what it makes it for a Westerner very refreshing. So I hope that you can see or get a glimpse of that on the visuals on the film. But yeah, once again, I know that it's a extremely difficult thing to do, and I'm asking a lot. Um, Lucius, they both take place in space. Lucius, all right, yeah, well, of course, yes. All right, so okay, Simon, you mentioned some things before. So even with just the movies, I can tell that the Emperor is taken. Astartes too, with the personally army of the Emperor, the idea of holy war. Yes, for example, all these things are clearly taken from Dune. Maybe not the Emperor itself, because the Emperor in Dune, spoiler alert, but it's just a dude. It's not that important. But even though not the Emperor 40K is not influenced by the Emperor in Dune, but it's clearly based on the idea of the chosen one, right? The of Paul, the character that becomes Paul Atreides, which is a super being, right? Like a living god, and it's leading a crusade across the galaxy. So that is clearly taken from Dune. Yes, the Astartes as well, even though I mean in a very different form. But yes, for example, the idea of that space travel is controlled by a guild of mutants, that they were originally humans, but they have mutated so much that they are something different, the navigators. So again, another thing taken from Dune. The kind of the way of traveling through space, even though it's not exactly the same, but it's it's also very much inspired by it. Monolith Prince. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Yeah, Moebius. Yes, I'm guessing you are referring to what I mentioned about the Incal, right? Yes. What a masterpiece of a comic that is. And one of the things, and I'm going completely on a tangent here, but what I love about that comic is how casual it is. The story and the art itself, even though it is epic, at the same time it's so casual and not trying to be epic in some way. I don't know if it's a little bit. It gives me on that level. It makes me think a little bit on the Nausicaa, the comic, the the manga as well. It's super epic, but it's so casual. The how Miyazaki draw everything, and I don't know. It's a little bit. It makes me feel a little bit of like that. It's like so casual in some way, and it's fantastic. It's Simon, yeah, I think I get what you mean, but yeah, without feeding the books, it's hard to understand truly. Yeah, yeah. At least to me, myself as a concept artist, I feel that that's where the true challenge um, uh, lays. I mean, because the story is already there, right? It's just doing a good script and a good adaptation, but the story is already there, so there is nothing to create in that sense. Nothing new, but visually there is everything to do new because we only have words and descriptions and that's to me at least I feel that there is such a humongous challenge, and I would have loved to work on the project. I will loved it, but yeah, I think in my opinion that's where the true challenge lays, in not just doing another just uh, visually appealing look, but something that really fits within the flavor and story of the novel. And of course, I mean, to be honest, the universe of Dune is so vast as well that there is plenty of room to do a lot of different things and variety, right, in cultures and stuff like that. But still, it remains a baseline there that needs to feel a little bit different from what we are used to. But yeah, once again, I have such high hopes. Also, uh, talking about themes or ideas taken from Dune to the universe or of 40K, or at least inspired, is the idea of people with psychic powers or something similar, you know, like with powers. Something that is not magic, right? And it's explained, but yeah. And also the another theme, also very important in the baseline of of 40K is the manipulation of genetics, right? How the through the manipulation of genetics of trying to create super beings, and that's also part of the core of Dune as well. So it's 40K is filled with references and borrowed ideas from Dune. So I'm guessing that's also one of the reasons why I loved 40K so much, since I like and why I love both things so much. We have so much things in common. Nikolai, hey, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Peter, I think because Dune has been cannibalized for theme, story, and design, it may feel generic. What do you mean? You mean the novel? Because I mean I totally agree in terms of the story and yeah, like you say, themes and but from a design point of view, the world is open for possibilities because there's nothing done, right? It's just a novel, so it's written words. It's just the only there is like other attempts to recreate visually the world of Dune, but that doesn't make it canon since it's not original from the author, right? So visually, I mean, in terms of designs, I'm not sure that I understand exactly what you mean. And to my knowledge, as far as I have seen of everything that has been done in terms of Dune, nothing managed to make justice or to be true to the soul and flavor of the novel. Of course, this opinion is a very very subjective and 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 depends on my own taste and yeah, etc. And of course, I'm not including this new one because I haven't seen it. So, so I'm just waiting to see. Simon, I agree with you. They could try a bit more. All right. Well, again, since next stream I would have seen the film, and I will be able to give a more knowledgeable opinion since I would have seen the film. But yeah, once again, I truly hope that they score a success on that level. This doesn't convince me. I know I need to do something with the hair. Let's use some Photoshop magic. Gutomon, heyo, hello, welcome to the stream. Peter, no, the new adaptation. All right, all right. Again, I haven't seen it, so yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I hope it doesn't, yeah, that it doesn't feel generic in that sense. I mean, because one of the of course here I'm just overthinking, but myself as a professional in the industry, I fear that there could have been some something within the creative process in this film, and is that the previous film, not the series, but the film, which is more known than the series, even though they had fantastic designers working on it, to be honest, the overall result is not very cool. The look of things is not that cool, even though there are some certain things that are very, very, very good. But the overall feeling is like it's not that good. So my fear is that a main point of focus on the design effort for the new film is making things look cool. You know, let's make justice to this masterpiece of science fiction and put it on the right place by making it cool. And even though that's something that I would agree, right? Because there is nothing. I mean, Dune is super cool. So doing cool visual designs for it, I think I'm totally with that. But the problem that might have come with that is that by focusing so much in making things just cool, to save it from the uncoolness that the universe of Dune has been known for in because of these failed so-called failed projects. If you compare with other science fiction films, right, like Star Wars looks cool, but Dune didn't look cool. So yeah, let's make it cool. Let's put it on the right place. That by doing so, they put so much effort into that they fail to give. Once again, sorry if I'm repeating myself like a broken record, but that they fail to give that uniqueness, that flavor that makes Dune's universe so different from anything else. So that's where my fears come from. if it makes any sense. And these type of decisions I can see very easily coming from more executive positions, right? Like, well, we need to make this film like a success. We want people to go to the cinemas and buy tickets, so let's try to make it appealing visually, and that means sometimes just to go mainstream and not once again to make justice and to be bold, in this case with the visual designs. So but hopefully it's just fears, and yeah, I don't know, and maybe I feel that it's good in on that level, it's good enough. uh, this uh, okay, let's try give another try. Continuing about films, I'm just watching on Netflix at the moment a series that I'm enjoying immensely. Um, it's called Midnight Mass. I don't know if you have seen it, but it's I'm really liking it. And another film that I'm super happy I have seen just today, that it's playing on Netflix as well, that I'm so happy that they are playing it now, because I missed to go to see it on the cinemas. Uh, it's called Lighthouse, and it's by the same director that made The Witch, which I loved that film. And yeah, I don't know if you have seen it, the Lighthouse. I know very little about it. I just know, just because of who is the director and how much I love The Witch. I'm super excited to watch it. Has any of you seen any of these films or series that I'm talking about? The Midnight Mass, or the Witch, or this one, the Lighthouse? What do you think about this type of long ponytail that gives a Jin vibe to the character? Do you think it fits the character overall? Nikolai, nice. Good to hear that you are doing good. I'm doing good myself. Just as you can see, digging into the design for the second part of the Nemesis Art challenge. In the Nemesis for this awesome character here. And having a great time talking about films, design, and adaptations, and yeah, I love this type of things with you guys. Simon, I'm planning to watch it. I saw it. It's made by people behind the Hills series. You mean this one? You're referring to the Midnight Mess? I mean, I'm loving it. It's a mini series, but I really enjoying it. And I may understand if it's not a cup of tea for everybody, even though it's not that special. But it's so well made, and the stories and the acting, in my opinion, it's fantastic and so creepy as well. It's it touch tangentially a subject that I find it so cringy, which is religious zealotry. I don't know what's the word in English, like zealots, like religious fanatism, which for me is so cringy, and yeah, and there's a lot of that theme on the series. Simon, yeah, the lighthouse. I saw it a few days ago. Nice. I know so very little, but I know I'm gonna love it. I know it. Lucy's. I watched the Lighthouse last week. It's very good. Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, very eerie movie. I saw at the time when it came to the cinemas. I saw the trailer, and yeah, and once again, I mean, if it's something similar to The Witch, which was also so eerie and so so good in my opinion. Ponte, you haven't seen any of those. Man, you should. But I know that you are not very good fan of horror films, right? I so yeah, maybe those are not for you. Uh, Even though the midnight mass is not that scary, it's more eerie. So far, maybe it becomes super scary later. Vagnuo, thanks for the follow. Thank you. Welcome to the stream. And the witch, I wouldn't say it's that scary either, but also very eerie. I'm so undecided when it comes to the hairstyle of Mr. Whitey. Peter, my brother-in-law went to a first date to see The Witch, and that was a bad call. Yeah, I can understand why it could have been. I mean, of course, it depends on who was the date, right? Uh, but The Witch, in my opinion, I think is a masterpiece. Peter, I like the Mohawk better. I haven't watched Midnight Mass. Maybe this weekend I will watch it. All right. Sorry, I'm mixing things. That was Rodolfo. Vanities. Weren't those tails used in all Japanese masks to intimidate? I have no idea. No clue. I'm not very. I'm not a big connoisseur of the Japanese culture and traditions and history. So I mean, how if it's a very eccentric ponytail, right? That is just like. Whew. Yeah, Peter. The thing with the mohawk thingy, this, I agree that it gives a more modern time vibes, which it's going with this idea of the cyberpunk side of the design. Fits very well and with the street thug type of thing. So I agree with that. So that's why it was my first attempt. But I just wanted to to explore more ideas. But I kind of agree because even though I like some of the other things that I have tried so far, they are not convincing me that much. I agree. Maybe making it a little bit more eccentric and bigger might be the solution. Lucius, Willem Dafoe had amazing scenes. Yeah, I bet he has. Yeah, I'm so looking forward to The Lighthouse. Rodolfo, I really like that ponytail. All right, so you are more going for that ponytail. Yeah, the problem I have with these other alternatives is that it starts. I bear in mind that I'm one of the design goals for this character is to walk this thin line between this cyberpunk or like I don't know futuristic strict thug criminal with the wizard necromancer fantasy look. So I need to find this middle ground, and these type of hairstyles kind of make things lean more towards the fantasy and wizard thing. And at the moment, I think there are too many elements of that already. So that's why I think visually it looks cool, but I'm not that convinced in terms of my design goals for the character. Vanity is like Yoshimitsu character in Tekken. Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah. Again, I have no idea about these things. I haven't had the chance to work into any type of Japanese themed stuff, so I haven't done much research, and I've never been that interested personally. So, Vagno, hello. Welcome to the stream. Pontus, yeah, it's a horror genre. Yes, of course. Vanities, no worries, me either, but I think the tail works. All right, so you think also you are leaning toward the tail as well. Again, you know what I just said about that. I'm not that sold. I'm not sure. Simon, have you watched Ari Aster's movie? I put them on the same level of The Witch. No, I don't know what film you are talking about. Could you put some video or trailer or something on the Discord, if you don't mind? I'm definitely interested. If you think they are on the same level as the Witch, Peter, the ponytail is like Abaddon's the armless level. Yes, yeah, definitely. It reminds, but to me, I mean, it gives like this gin thing flavor. Yeah, I don't know. I could try to do something like a mix between a mohawk and then something else as well. Let's see. Oh, and it's already. Oh, I need to finish the stream, guys. Duty, daddy duty. Sorry, daddy duty calls. Let me just wrap that with the chats. Peter, now that you put up the mohawk, he looks like a low tier boss. You think so? Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's why I was thinking that it needs to be extravagant in some way. Because yeah, it feels that at the same time it's lacking a certain level of punch, if that makes any sense. So I agree with that on that level. Yes. So yeah, so many difficult question. It's gonna take me some hard time deciding what to go for. Peter, I would lose the hair maybe and add some of those gold lines on the head and the face. Could be. Bear in mind that the face is not finished whatsoever. So I was actually I'm envisioning perhaps using a little bit of metal work on the face at some point as well. I still haven't tried it. Yeah. So yeah, this phase is definitely not final. But yeah, good points, and yes, there is plenty of room to play with those things as well. Yes. Simon, could you put multiple ponytails? It could have a sort of cable look, which works with the cyberpunk. Yeah, perhaps. Perhaps. Definitely worth trying. I mean, he could have. What I'm thinking at the moment is that he still can have the mohawk, then have other elements on the hairstyle. Well, but again, I cannot. I will work later on. I need to finish the stream. The thing is, I'm having such a good time that it's yeah, it's I would love to stay a little bit longer, but sadly I cannot. Krum, hi everyone. Talking about the ponytail, I think it makes character more dynamic. Yes, I agree in that sense. That's also was one of the reasons why I thought about that. It adds a very nice line to the composition of the to the image. So yeah. Juan Toledano, thank you. Likewise, man. David Pa, hey, hello, welcome to the stream. And sadly, I'm sorry, but I'm just like closing up the shop. Estoy cerrando el tenderete, as we say in Spanish. Peter sent a video of shoulder wraps using Kenjutsu prior to fighting on Insta. Oh, all right. Thanks a lot. I much appreciate the help. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for today. Like always, it's a pleasure. As you can see, I have plenty of work to do and not so much time to finish the Nemesis character. but that's but also very enjoyable. So again, thanks a lot for all the ideas, suggestions. And please, if you can share on Discord those films that you were referring to, I will definitely would love to know. And yeah, also I will let you know what I think about the Dune film next week. Very excited. And yeah, I hope that you have a fantastic end of the weekend and a great coming week. Stay safe, healthy, and draw and paint a lot. And see you next Saturday, same time. All right. Have a good one. And once again, thanks for joining in. It's always a pleasure. Bye bye.